Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
The following is a News Channel 8 special presentation.
The election's over. Now it's time for the analysis. Ande has the rundown.
Sam, our guest today is the mayor-elect, Bob Cashell. And along with him is someone I consider to be the state's best pollster. He's Don Carlson. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can ask Oscar Goodman, the mayor of Las Vegas, or our newly elected mayor of Reno, Bob Cashell. Today, Don and Bob are both on the hot seat.
Thanks, Ande. And we have a panel of power pundits. Greg Ferraro, live by satellite from Las Vegas. He was with the governor last night. Jim Denton is here, and Scott Craigie. It's all coming up next on Nevada Newsmakers.
Brag about your children. Talk about how smart, beautiful, and gifted they are. Just make sure you're talking to the most important people you know. Your kids. Tell them all the good things they do. It'll build their self-esteem and give them a positive outlook on life. Teach self-confidence. Put your children first.
Children First is brought to you by the Washoe Education Association.
Hi, I'm Kurt Franke. I'm not one of those attorneys that will try to get your business with some silly special effect. I have too much respect for myself and my profession. I will promise to be personally involved in your case and to represent you with the hard work, legal skills, and professionalism it takes to get you the highest award possible. If you have a ridiculous case, hire a ridiculous attorney. If you have a serious personal injury and need quality representation, I'd encourage you to call me.
Sure, it's been tough.
We've been living a lie for years.
Keeping our scores to ourselves.
Sneaking off to motels to get dressed up.
Ducking into theaters.
It's bittersweet.
The life of a closet.
Say it.
Opera buff.
Opera. It's okay to love it. Join us as we celebrate Nevada Opera's 35th season with Verdi's Rigoletto. Tickets start at $25 through Ticketmaster.com, at the Pioneer Center, or by phone.
You can't see us, can you?
Store now offers a variety of products with a choice of material and finishes. Create your own look of individuality with interior windows of mahogany, cherry, Douglas fir, pine, cedar, maple, and 50 standard exterior colors at no upcharge. Custom shop quality without the custom shop prices. All things Eagle Window and Door customers come to expect. For that extra touch you're looking for, Eagle Window and Door, just west of Keystone on 4th.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and political analyst Ande Engleman.
Don Carlson is a professor at Western Nevada Community College, and he's joined by the mayor of Reno, Bob Cashell.
And I'll go ahead and get started. Don, you have a firm called Survey Research Systems that does polling throughout the state. You've been involved in this campaign for a while. Tell me the truth about why the Mayor Jeff Griffin, decided not to run for re-election.
Well, I believe the reason that had to be very much at the top of the list is that he himself became the issue. His tone, his style, his approach produced very, very high negatives. And I think had he continued into the race, the issue would have been Mayor Griffin.
So when he pulled out, then the issue became the trench, is that correct?
I think in some ways the trench is very emblematic of the Griffin tenure.
Now, the campaign for Julie Sferraza and Dwight Dortch's opponent, and then for Zadra and so forth, this thing was very fluid and not really going anywhere, and all of a sudden the two campaigns seemed to have picked up steam a couple of weeks ago. What happened?
Well, I think 4 weeks ago, approximately, the undecided was very high. I think Dortch, his whole promotional approach made a context for voters to grasp that maybe one Sferraza on the November ballot was enough. And secondly, I think Zadra, in the last couple of weeks, raised in a subtle way what I call the work ethic issue. And I think the incumbent and Zadra, clear up until 2 weeks ago, Nearly 50% of the voters were undecided. And my interpretation, he had not made the case to be reelected, but she had not made the case to replace him. And within the last week, her approach, I think, gave a reason for voters to replace him.
Now, when you do polling, do you give advice to candidates such as maybe you might want to go in this direction or you might want to go in that direction?
I give them my view of the world, and they decide what they want to do.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
congratulations, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This was not a cakewalk.
No, it wasn't.
Were the numbers closer than you thought they might be?
They were, but, you know, towards the end of the campaign, we'd kind of changed our marketing style. Maybe we shouldn't have, but because of Don, I knew exactly where we were. We felt very comfortable. I had Don do work for me for probably 25 years, and so I felt very comfortable. So we kind of went dark, and we started turning other contributions over to other people to try to help them get elected.
Let's talk about the trench and the change in the council. The city seems to have voted in two different directions here. What do you make of it?
Well, I think the voters sent a clear message. They don't like the way the trench was sold to them. They don't like the way it was crammed down their throat. But they also sent a clear message that they're tired of the fighting and the bickering and those type of things that are going on at the council. And so I don't really, we haven't looked at the districts yet, the 5 districts or wards, to see how they voted, but we think they sent a real clear message that they're tired of the bickering, and they didn't like the way, and they sent a message to the new council, don't try it again.
Okay, if you had to take a guess at this moment, is the trench going to proceed?
Right now, from what I know of it, the trench will proceed, because nobody knows exactly what it would cost to get out of it. Nobody knows the damages it would do to our bond ratings. Nobody knows who's going to pay for it, and those type of things. And so I think the trench will go ahead and proceed, and it's time now to bring it in under budget and ahead of time.
We understand you've made this very clear that your first order of business is going to be to take out that city council table. You're going to use a chainsaw, or have you decided the method?
Well, if you know, it'd be a little ridiculous to chop up a good table, but I will take a chainsaw to the meeting and suggest to the council that we remove that, because I don't think that the people that are making presentations, they should be able to see your face and see your eye, not your earlobe, and I think it'll make it less confrontational if we spread it, and that'll be one of the first agenda items that I ask to be placed on the agenda.
Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2 is let's get together and meet with the county commissioners, meet with the city of Sparks, and start to establish some rules and some ground. I'd like to see us maybe change our day of meetings so that I can go to county commission meetings or Sparks City Council meetings when we're not in session.
So this would be called working together?
I'm hoping that's what it'll be. That's exactly going to be the game plan.
That's a whole new world here.
It certainly is. Well, it was interesting that another message being sent by the voters was that a merger between the county and the city would be a good thing.
They made that very clear, and I think it's time that we all sit down and gather around the table and do what's best for the board of directors, and that's the citizens of this community.
You're going to have to expend a lot of energy the next 4 years. You ready for it?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited. You know, the mayor of Las Vegas thinks he's got the greatest job. Well, he and I'll debate that later, but I think I've got the greatest job.
We want to cover that debate.
Yes.
Thank you very much, both of you, for being here. It's a pleasure, and congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
And when we come back here on Nevada Newsmakers, we're going to be joined by the Power Pundits, including Greg Ferraro, who's down in Las Vegas, live by satellite.
In Taekwondo, there is no substitute for training, experience, and practice. The same principles apply to the law. If you are involved in a legal dispute, you want an attorney who will fight for your rights in an aggressive and convincing manner. I'm Jack Kennedy. Put my experience to work for you, and don't settle for less than you deserve.
come together.
At More Furniture for Less. Never before have we put this offer together. No down payment, no interest, and no payments till 2004. Plus a 10% discount. They both come together. More furniture, more savings, and for the first time ever, no down payment, no interest, and no payments till 2004. Plus an extra 10% discount this Veterans Day week at More Furniture for Less. Come together.
Hi, I'm P.H. Dole. I'd like to thank all the American veterans who defended our country in the name of democracy. I salute you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Tonight, Barbara Walters takes on the Osbournes.
Oh, God.
Just wait until you hear Sharon's stunning revelation that shocked even Ozzy and the kids. And meet the daughter you don't know. It's the Osbournes like you've never seen on a special 2020 tonight.
I don't have a favorite fish recipe. I have lots of them. And I always go to Rayleigh's for my fish. Their people are specially trained. The fish is as fresh as can be. And they have lots of good ideas on how to fix it. How do I know so much about their seafood? Easy. When I'm not sharing my latest recipes with my family, I'm sharing them with you at Rayleigh's.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers with our Power Pundits here. Jim Denton joins us and Scott Craigie. And down live by satellite in Las Vegas is our good friend Greg Ferraro. Good morning, Greg. You were with the governor last night. What was his mood?
Oh, he was very excited. I was excited for Brian Sandoval and the rain hunt and for all the Republican candidates in Nevada and across the country. It was a great night. I think that, in fact, in his words, we ran the table.
I don't think there would be any disagreement here. What were the surprises for you?
Well, what I say the surprises were a number of the ballot questions that had taxation went down, with the exception of transportation bonds. North and South both passed. I'm still trying to make heads or tails of the election cycle, but I think it comes down to one issue, and it's trust. And people wanted to trust those to get things done, and I think that was shown throughout the state.
Gentlemen, you want to weigh in on this?
I don't disagree. I think it did come down to trust. It came down to trust, particularly on those bond issues. People, I think, have said, we'll give you the money. We have the faith and confidence in the new government that we're electing to get the job done, and we're willing to pay for it.
And I think the lesson out of last night was the system worked very well. People put candidates up in almost every race. There are a few people that were very popular, probably unapproachable, like Bernice Martin Matthews and Townsend and some others. But they put candidates up. It was competitive, and voters went at it. And we talked here yesterday about how voters would fade on the ballot questions.
They didn't.
They didn't. No. I'm a wide-eyed optimist. I say the system worked.
Greg, what did you think about that?
Well, I think it's...
I'm sorry.
I think it's important to note that we had almost 60% turnout statewide. So I think to Scott Craigie's point, the system is working. I just wanted to say as an aside, I think the Dortch and Zadra campaigns were very, very effective down the backstretch. And I heard earlier Mayor Cashell remark that maybe a couple weeks ago it wasn't so tight. But I think those campaigns really demonstrated good message work.
And I think it demonstrated one other thing. It demonstrated that people are tired of local government fighting. They're tired of the rock-throwing contests in local government. They want that to end.
And it looks like Bob Cashell is the man to do that. That's been his history as a consensus builder. And if he's able to do that, you know, he may be able to walk on water right after. But
my money would go on Bob Cashell doing that.
Every time.
Yes.
Every time.
I agree. But Sam, what did you think of last night?
Well, last night, I said it on KOH last evening. I think that, you know, we got a reflection of people moving to the Silver State who are not traditional Nevadans. They are more urban than rural, and they are looking for a lifestyle to escape from and a better one that's here. And we saw that in the way that the voting went. What I was interested in was in the three races that were so ugly, the Hunt-Kenney, Washington Carter, and Sandoval-Hunt, how close a couple of them were and what a big gap there were in the others. I thought Joe Carter's concession speech on KOH was wonderful, because he said that it was a very uplifting experience for him, and that he was really pleased that the Republicans had people call him on the phone, because he was able to turn a whole bunch of votes that way. And he said, look for me in 4 years.
Well, you know, sounds like pretty good spin to me.
Well, for first time out, I mean, the amount of heat that guy took, I don't know if anybody could be prepared for that.
As you know, in terms of full disclosure, I have to admit I was involved in that, as you know. one of the things those ads did is they were designed to drive up Joe Carter's negatives, and we drove up his negatives from 3% to 23% in 12 days.
And one of the most unfortunate things about the way the election went is that, again, we fell back on the basic negative instinct. We beat up on people on a level. I mean, Lieutenant Governor Hunt, I don't think I've ever seen her in 25 years go negative.
But she had to,
she did.
Scott.
She had to. You know, that's the business. Unfortunately,
she was, Scott, she was just simply responding to those other allegations that were raised.
And actually, that's the point. She had to go there, and that's exactly the point I'm making. We make it impossible for a person to win just on positives, and that's the unfortunate thing, and she's probably the best example of how we've fallen into that trap.
But Scott, you know, the fact of the matter is there are negatives and then there are legitimate negatives, and I think the negatives that Lorraine Hunt used in her re-election campaign were very,
Do negatives really keep voters away from the polls, or is that an excuse?
I think in one sense it does suppress turnout, yes.
And it makes it harder to get qualified people to run.
I think also all those statewide Democrats suffered from the fact that there wasn't a real strong top of the ticket.
I agree.
And so conversely, the Republicans' get out the vote effort, I think, was far superior. Interesting to note, though, from the White House this morning across the country to Republican leaders, they issued, in essence, a no gloating policy. They don't want Republicans to do anything but focus on the agenda ahead, and I think that's very smart.
Don Carlson wants to jump in here. Don?
I would like to remind us that sometimes there are exceptional candidates, and therefore there are exceptional campaigns, and the Cashell campaign was totally positive. So occasionally, the exceptional candidate can succeed without going negative.
Actually, that's a good point.
That's a very good point.
That's an excellent point.
I think that Nancy Cashell spot really worked. What do you guys think?
Oh, yes, we all love the Nancy Cashell spot. I love that.
Okay.
I like the Dorch ad, too.
I believe you and I voted for the Nancy Cashell
All right,
spot,
well let's talk about your opinion on the Dorch, because a bunch of us were going, well, you know, we don't like
You guys
the little
never
baby
liked the
pictures.
Dorch ad. I love the baby pictures. I love the picture of him in high school with his Welcome Cotter haircut, because everybody did that at that age.
Well, you know what you call him today? He's councilman.
That's right. Yes, today you call him councilman.
Obviously, Greg and I were wrong on the Dorch ad.
Thank you.
And I was wrong, too. I was there. Okay, let's take a break, and we'll come back with more with our pundits here on Nevada Newsmakers right after this time out.
I'll remember my special day forever.
My father got his Purple Heart in 1942.
The certified craftsman at Fast Frame can help preserve your personal memories. We offer hundreds of mats and thousands of frame styles to choose from. And Fast Frame is the only shop with a 100% guarantee.
I didn't think I'd make it, but here's the proof.
Fast Frame, highest quality, fastest service, 940 Moana Lane, Reno.
Name your own price on a quality used car during the Customer Calls the Shot sale at Deal Direct Auto Sales. That's right, no reasonable offer refused. Deal Direct is overstocked and needs to move an entire lot full of like new cars, trucks, and SUVs. You name the price. Deal Direct will finance you on the spot with low interest rates that you'll love.
Casino employees show your work ID card and get $250 off your next car at Deal Direct, Kitski and Moana.
I don't have enough time to get my health checked. If you want more time, get a health check. Health Check, a comprehensive health screening program for the early detection of heart disease, strokes, and cancer. Reno Diagnostic Centers. For appointments or information, call 785-6305. When my dad and I decided to make some changes in his lifestyle, we knew right where to go. Rayleigh's. They have everything we need to help him eat better, keep better track of his health, and take better care of himself. They even have a website with lots of expert advice. How do I know they have everything to live a healthier lifestyle? Easy, because when I'm not helping my dad, I'll be helping you at Rayleigh's.
Our pundits, including Greg Ferraro down in Las Vegas. Jim, you brought up an interesting point here, some of the little differences that occurred last night.
Well, voters in Reno voted against the trench. They voted for the two pro-trench candidates. They voted for the mayor, who's
obviously identified with the trench. And then on top of everything else, only 17% of the voters voted against the Chief Justice, whose court ruled that it was not legal for the voters to vote on the trench.
And you know,
Hey,
Sam,
Jim,
it's good news again.
I agree. I agree.
Here, the voters did their job. They didn't let one issue dominate how they were going to vote on candidates. They didn't let that issue dominate, and yet on that issue, they voted the way they felt. They sent the leaders the message that they wanted, and they did each ballot question the way that they thought it should be done.
Greg?
I'll be interested to see how Don Carlson and the other analysts break down the trench question, because, of course, it includes the whole county, voters in Sparks and in the unincorporated area of the county, who didn't vote for or were not allowed to vote for Dortch or Zadra. So it'll be interesting to see the juxtaposition of those voters.
But they did vote in those judge races.
Yes, that's true. Greg, you know, obviously the Senate was retained. What are your thoughts on that? Where do we go from here?
Well, obviously this is going to be a legislative session to end all sessions. It's going to be a session where the whole tax code of the state of Nevada is going to be seriously debated. I think the Republican Senate and the Republican governor, and now 19 members in the Assembly, are going to have to come together and figure out what the Republican position on that issue is. And moreover, I think trying to find 2/3 is going to require lots of cooperation and hard work working together.
Now, Greg, I talked to Lynn Hetrick last night, and I know that he felt very good about having the fact that they could stop the 2/3. You know, they could more or less stop a tax hike. There's a number of the Republican assemblymen who have vowed to not vote for tax hikes.
Well, we'll see whether or not sectional politics enters the fray, whether or not Southern Nevada Republicans continue to join Northern Nevada Republicans and vice versa on issues that affect their daily lives. I don't know whether partisanship at the end of the day will be more important than where you live.
But Greg, you know, this again is good news, I think, for voters in general. It's a Republican Senate, it's a Democrat House. The margin is very small. Percentage-wise, it's the same. It's very close. You're going to have to be able to have bipartisan support to do anything major in the state. It's going to have to be moderate. It can't be something that's incredibly strong or radical or mean. That's all good for voters.
Scott. And I think one message the voters sent yesterday is those who play politics over policy are going to have a problem in the next election.
Oh, that's a great line. I should write that down.
No, I think that's true.
And how do you interpret that? I like that message.
I think it might have been Wendell Wilkie's.
Oh, is that Wendell Wilkie's? Greg says it's Wendell Wilkie's line.
No, I think that's true. Voters have an expectation of getting some things done on the national level, on the state level, and on the city level.
Okay, so
I couldn't agree more. I think that's the referendum of this election is, by God, we want to get something done. Stop bickering and let's move forward.
All right, so let's look at this historically then. Is this the first time that this has happened in Nevada politics, where the electorate is speaking with such a loud voice?
Well, actually, 10 years ago, maybe it was 8, it was a 21-21 assembly. Actually not. There have been a number of times when voters have turned a large number of people out, or where reapportionment created a bunch of new districts, and we got a more moderate legislature. It tends to become stronger and stronger as people are more senior, and some of the caucuses control all the chairmanships for a decade. So once in a while, a little changeover is kind of healthy.
I think we're seeing the long-term after effects of 9/11, where voters and the general public at large want to stop the noise, start to create results and stop the noise.
Yeah, I agree somewhat with Greg. I think a lot of what you saw today on this election has to do with war. I think it has more to do with that and a president who they want to be loyal to. They want to do what he wants. We took reapportionment. Democrats reapportioned the assembly. Hello, excuse me, 19 seats now? They lost seats under reapportionment. That makes no sense.
If you take a look at it from the local government perspective, it's, you know, what I said here a couple of weeks ago, that Reno city government reminded me of the movie Groundhog Day. We kept going over the same things over and over again. I think you're going to find that the voters expect that to end, and I think you will find that Mayor-elect Cashell makes that end.
Well, and let's address that briefly here. You know, with the council situated the way it is, which is basically, if you look at a voting block, it will probably be 5-2. It looks like the city is going to move ahead on a lot of different levels, business-wise.
For a change.
Thank God.
And you know, in the legislative side, actually, this kind of reinforces the theory, too. The Assembly broke ranks with the Senate so that you didn't have a Senate district that had tightly contained Assembly districts. They went out to make the best districts they could, and voters still overwhelmed that and sent a number of Republicans in a House that was apportioned by Democrat leaders.
You know, Scott, I think that the city of Reno has, of last night, turned the corner towards a very promising future, and I think a lot of people are going to be surprised how effective a leader Bob Cashell is going to be.
Okay, let's take a break here. When we come back, we got some thanks here. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Rumors is Reno's first and finest full-service salon, specializing in hair, nails, skin, makeup, and body services. Rumors Full-Service Salon. Call for your appointment today. You've heard the rumor, and it's true.
Hi, I'm Kirk Franke. If you need an attorney, there are 4 things you should look for. 1, a sincere commitment to you and your case. 2, a knowledge of the law. 3, the confidence and work ethic it takes to try a case. And if you find those 3 things in one attorney, then the 4th thing you need is his phone number.
Holidays are coming, and Ennis is here to help start the season with our 1/3 off pre-holiday sale. You'll save 1/3 off on all Drexel Heritage Dining Room, plus all leather and upholstery furniture. Select Thomasville Dining and all Thomasville leather and upholstery furniture is also 1/3 off. Ennis has 0% financing with no payments for up to 12 months or special 5-year financing at 7.9%. Shop early and take advantage of our 1/3 off pre-holiday sale at Ennis.
I don't have a favorite fish recipe. I have lots of them. And I always go to Rayleigh's for my fish. Their people are specially trained. The fish is as fresh as can be. And they have lots of good ideas on how to fix it. How do I know so much about their seafood? Easy. When I'm not sharing my latest recipes with my family, I'm sharing them with you at Rayleigh's.
Enjoy the spirit of our town at Reno's Rink on the River, wine walks, caroling by candlelight, concerts in churches, the lighting of the menorah, and more. Stay tuned to News Channel 8 or visit KOLOTV.com for a complete listing of events.
And I want to say thank you very much indeed. This is our last program for now. We're going on hiatus. Hopefully we'll come back during the legislative session. But I want to say thank you especially to Greg Ferraro, who has given up an incredible amount of time, free of charge, to be on this program and paid for his own satellite window so he can be part of this program. And I can't tell you how grateful we are for all of your insights on the program.
Well, it's been fun, Sam and Andy, and I look forward to doing it again, and we'll see you at the legislature.
Okay, thank you, my friend. Have a good day and enjoy your victories. And Jim Denton, the same goes for you. You've just given up an incredible amount of time for this program. I think that the public in every way has responded to the show by saying that they were informed when they went to the polls. People have registered to vote because they watched the show and enjoyed it. And you've been a big part of this. Scott Craigie, thank you so much for coming in and helping us, and especially last night with the election coverage on KOH.
Enjoyed it. It's been fun. Thanks.
And Chris Wicker and Martha Gould and Andy Barbano, who are all parts of our panel. I also want to take out a little time here, if I may, to say thank you to Peter Carlson and Sam Breen, who took my crazy ideas and made the vision a reality, and Kirk Stock, our incredible director, who under the most trying circumstances has put on a wonderful show that I think is one of the most creative shows we've ever had in Northern Nevada as far as politics goes. And so, Kirk, thank you so much. Andy Engleman, you have done everything. You've produced this show, brought all the guests in, lined them all up. We could not have even gotten close without you. So thank you so much for all your input. And Bonnie McCorkle, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be here. You get the last word.
Oh, thank you very much. I want to also say thank you to Dick Gamick, who spent a lot of time on the show. But I also want everyone to know that without Sam, this show would not be here. This was Sam's vision. Sam knew that the public needed information, and he went out and got all the people together and then said, okay, people, go do what you do best, and I know it'll turn out right, and I hope it has.
Well, it certainly has. And you asked me to summarize what I thought of this election. Yeah. The people spoke, and they spoke very loud and clearly. They're not stupid. Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers.